Welcome to the channel. Doing 70s relics. What the hell? That could be anything. There's something going on in the 70s that was other than mainstream, and these represent that. Two overlooked titles for quality and subversion. No apologies. I take no prisoners on this one.
He's not fucking around today, Eric.
Well, I got two relics from the 70s that were from LA and Memphis. And the first is kind of the commercialization of something formerly underground, I guess. Or second one is about shining a light on people who were sort of just 10 feet away from fame their whole lives, backing more prominent artists.
For me, I've got one album of prime Lebanese disco and one of American rock, spelled Rawk,
Lebanese.
which is to say it's really rocking.
Well, I'll get started with this band from LA, Monitor, from 1979. It's their only album. This comes from the LA punk underground. So they were in a bunch of local bands, including the Romans and the great Keith Mitchell, the drummer everyone wanted to use, and was also in Opal and Mazzy Star. So we've got some great drumming here. It's Baroque and sort of dark wave with a bit of chamber music. There's something dark that was looming in suburban basements in LA. It's lush and simple, but overall, it's really ominous. And they have songs like I Saw Dead Jim's Shade. And there's also a hardcore song called Hair, but it's performed by the Meat Puppets. So there's a lot of variety here of using organ, variety of voices, pounding drums, interlocking rhythm, repetition, classical stylings with electronics, and a variety of guitar tones. It's sort of a compressed journey into a pathological id. It's pensive and sinister, but sometimes jubilant. They do a West African tune. Sometimes it's medieval. Sometimes a Middle Eastern melody creeps into the song. It covers a spectrum of emotion, but nails it in its despairing, provocative, and novel sound. Maybe a cousin might be Tuxedo Moon without the rhythm machine. Anyway, I keep it in my dark and hard to listen to section. Oh, and from Europe, France in particular, ZNR, which is a sort of a folk Henry Cow without the complexities, but it's a two-piece. It's two guys that create these eccentric vignettes, electroacoustic pieces that combine classical, free jazz. It's got a fair amount of skronk. And there is a beef art connection. You see, it's upside down on one side, representing the one character, and representing this musician, Hector Zazou and Ranchi, the last name Ranchi. And it's also upside down in the middle. Yeah, there's the Don Van Fleet drawing. Okay, lots of motion here. Lots of emotion as well. So it's got, seems to be dueling synthesizer and piano, both electric and acoustic piano, clarinet and sax. There are some vocals in French, some in English, and it's got this distorto vocal treatment, sort of like Eric was talking about, a possessed toad. It sort of has that sound, but it's done through electroacoustic effects. Okay, and that song is really disturbing, but it breaks up the whole suite of songs. They have associations with Rock Against Racism, the Canterbury scene, but more in general, that 70s Euro scene that combined chamber music, electronics, and jazz. So it's adventuresome and infamously on the Nurse with Wound list, and that should be a warning at least, if not a threat, for you to listen to this. I keep it in my prog section.
All All right.
Was it?
My first record is Abu Ali from Ziad Rahbani. This record is from 1979. Um, so Ziad Rahbani was Lebanese and really Arab world music royalty. He was the son of Fairuz, the golden age, singer, Lebanese chanteuse. And he was the son of one of the famed Rahbani brothers who composed, I don't know, roughly a million albums from the 50s through the 70s. Ziad, at the time this record was made, he was in his 20s, I think, and he was sort of taking over the reins of the family business in a lot of ways. And he went and he modernized the sound of, the golden age of Arabic pop music. And he added in like funk and jazz and bossa nova. And on this record, it's got all the swelling strings and the Middle Eastern melodies that you would expect, but it also has a disco beat. And it's kind of a spare record, actually. There's a lot of open space in here. And it's overlaid with, there's some synth work, and there's a ney, it's kind of like a flute, this sort of haunting melody that floats over it. And the overall effect is it's intoxicating stuff, like the kind of thing that you can imagine listening to while you're sitting in a lounge in Beirut looking out over the Mediterranean or some great record. My next one, pretty different. Twin Peaks from Mountain. This is from 1973. So Mountain were an American hard rock band. They don't really get the shine they deserve, I don't think. Most people, if they know them at all, they just know that one song, Mississippi Queen, that dirty, iconic riff. I mean, it's a great riff. But Mountain had a lot of great songs. And a lot of them are on this record, it's a double record recorded in Osaka, actually by the same team that recorded Santana's Lotus. So it sounds incredible. So these are mostly long songs. They're pretty heavy for 1973. They tend towards bluesy jams, but there's also some prog in here, anchored by just a swinging rhythm section. And of course, but they're led by the guitar of Leslie West, who also doesn't get the shine he deserves, in my opinion. But his playing on this record is just like fire breathing, especially on the 30 plus minute Nantucket sleigh ride. This was one of their minor hits, I guess. But here, it's 32 or 33 minutes, and the band builds it up, breaks it apart, and then reassembles it, and it's a hell of a listen. 30-minute jams are not for everyone, but they are very much in my wheelhouse, and that's why I love this record. Eric, what do you got?
All right. Well, first up, I've got High Rhythm on the Loose. And these gentlemen here, no one will recognize probably, except their mothers and loved ones, but they're the geniuses behind the high record sound that is familiar to a broader segment of the population on the records of Ann Peebles and Al Green. So these guys have these great loping, there's this great loping beats, these sort of wistful strings, and just technically just immaculate performance on the guitars and keyboards. Anyway, here they take the stage without any of the famous people fronting them and just flex their muscle all on their own. That sweet Southern soul with a slightly melancholy edge to it that I think is characteristic of the high record sound. So that is my first choice, 1976, if I failed to mention it. From a predates that by a few years and is the absolutely filthy Overnight Sensation by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. At this point, by this point, the Mothers of Invention were no longer the Mothers of Invention that they had been in the 60s. Frank Zappa had moved on to much more technically proficient and even mercenary musicians. Tacky and tasteless narratives about his sexual exploits filling the record and stuff like that. Cover image, which representative of the kind of sounds that you get. You got dirty underwear, rotting fruit, and a kind of general ambiance of trashiness and sleaze. It still has a special place in my heart because of particular Montana, I think, which is the closing item of a closing track on the record, is just a pinnacle of greatness in Mr. Zappa's oeuvre because it imagines moving to big sky country in order to grow fields of dental floss, and the kind of randomness of this kind of flight of fancy, accompanied by a sort of high lonesome yips and yodels on the track is really something else. Yeah, this is a kind of a sleazy record. Give Me Your Dirty Love is one. Camarillo Brillo, and the infamous Dynamo Hum. This seems like a quintessentially 70s record to me, which I guess is why I chose it. Is this the kind of debauched rock and roll sleaziness of it all, coupled, as I said, with the surprisingly wholesome song about breaking away from it all to tend one's dental floss crop with zircon-encrusted tweezers gleaming in the moonlight, as the lyrics put it. So that's my second choice, Overnight Sensation. All right. Thank you, folks.
Let's mix it up a little.
Non-metal for metalheads.
I mean, there's a huge overlap between jazz people and metal people. The technicality.
Garbled with the ooze.
Tech death or something. There isn't much ooze, precise. It's so technical. Blood incantation.
And then you can bleat. Loosen up your underwear and get started.
Dirty underwear. All right, this isn't my underwear. I bought this online.
What was it? Richard Gere's underwear?
Disco.
Mark Wahlberg, circa 1992.
Disco.